Hrudurur, the Whispering Fog. In the isolated town of Black Hollow, nestled deep within the Appalachian Mountains, an eerie legend had persisted for generations, the tale of the Whispering Fog. Locals claim that every 50 years, a thick, silver mist would descend upon the valley, swallowing the town in an unnatural silence, and those who wandered into it never returned. The last recorded occurrence was in 1973, when three hikers vanished without a trace. No bodies, no footprints, just abandoned tents and cold campfires. The elders of Black Hollow whispered that the mist had claimed them. Now, in 2023, the fog had returned. The history of Black Hollow. The town of Black Hollow had always been an enigma. Established in the early 1800s, it was originally a mining settlement, but as the years passed, strange disappearances plagued the town. The first recorded case dated back to 1823, when a group of miners vanished in the valley. Only their tools and lanterns were found scattered across the forest floor. Some speculated that they had fallen into an undiscovered cavern, but no such caves were ever found. In 1873, a preacher named Samuel Reed wrote in his journal about the fog, "It is not of this world. It calls to us, whispers our names. We must not follow." 2 days after writing that entry, he was never seen again. The arrival of the fog, Ethan Carter, a journalist for a small-town magazine, arrived in Black Hollow, determined to unravel the mystery. Unlike the fearful townsfolk, he was skeptical, believing it to be nothing more than an overblown ghost story. He checked into the only inn, run by an elderly woman named Margaret Reeves, who regarded him with a mix of pity and concern. "The mist is already forming in the valley," she warned. "If you hear voices in the fog, whatever you do, don't answer." Ethan dismissed her warning with a polite nod, but that night, as he lay in bed, he heard it, the whispering. At first it was faint, almost like a breeze through the trees, but then it grew distinct. "Ethan, come find us." His blood ran cold. He sat up in bed, heart pounding. The voice sounded oddly familiar, but he couldn't place it. He forced himself to ignore it and waited for dawn. Into the unknown. The next morning, Ethan ventured into the valley, his camera in hand. The fog was thick, almost alive, curling around his ankles as he walked. The deeper he went, the quieter it became. No birds, no rustling leaves, just an unnatural stillness. Then a voice. "Help me!" It was faint, distant, but unmistakable. Ethan turned in circles, searching for the source. He followed the sound deeper into the fog, his heart pounding. The air grew colder. Shapes flickered in the mist. Distorted figures, half-seen faces. Were his eyes playing tricks on him? Then out of the haze, a silhouette emerged. A woman dressed in clothing, decades old, her eyes wide with terror. "Run," she whispered. Before Ethan could react, her form twisted and dissolved into the mist. A sudden gust of icy wind pushed him backward, and he stumbled, nearly dropping his camera. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, voices from different eras blending together. "Ethan, help us." He knew those voices now. His grandfather had disappeared in 1973 while hiking. The town had always said he was lost to the fog. But that was impossible, wasn't it? The vanishing Ethan barely had time to react before the fog thickened around him, swallowing all light. The whispers became deafening, a chorus of lost souls, their voices overlapping, pleading, screaming. Then, silence. When the fog finally lifted, Ethan Carter was gone. His camera was found lying in the grass, its last recording showing only static. And, for a brief moment, the shadowy outline of a face watching from within the mist. Black Hollow remained quiet, the townsfolk mourning another lost soul. And as the years passed, the legend of the whispering fog only grew, waiting for its next visitor to step into the unknown.